Hey, how's everyone doing? How was your weekend? I just love this Monet replica. It's one of my favorite of the Monet paintings, the replicas that you can buy cheaply. Obviously, I can't afford the original piece. And a special shout out to my late friend, Francisca Katashaya, because she gifted me this when I left Kenya. And I have had it on my wall since. Hey, let's chat about life. Today, I'd like to continue with the topic of retirement and preparations for it. Here in Canada, I see people downsizing, meaning that if you have a 3-bedroom house or even a 2-bedroom house that's too big, they sell and move into even studio apartments or 1-bedroom apartments that are within an apartment building, which are serviced and have other amenities within them. They have other retirees living there, so there's a community. So I see that happen a lot. Others vacate, they rent the bigger home and move into what I would call retirement living, those apartments or condos where many retired people move to. They also have nursing services and other healthcare services, because at that point all the bones and everything need help. And it's at that point in life where one needs help. And the life here being the way it is, people are so busy, they don't have time to look after their old relatives, so they rely on other people to do those kinds of things. So that's downsizing. I was thinking about downsizing in other areas. For instance, the credit behavior, debt, taking on debt. I would downsize that, because in retirement it will be very difficult to maintain debt repayments, and also pay for other expenses with a reduced income. Because no matter how much one has saved, usually the pension that one gets is not at the same level as when they were working. And if one is not careful and retires with all kinds of debt, it will be very, very stressful, probably unmanageable. So it's good to look at your expense list right now before you retire, and start cutting out things that you don't need. All those subscriptions, the super subscriptions, could be brought down to basic, which is cheaper than the plus, like this Netflix Plus. I don't think there is Netflix Plus, but there are things which are plus and they cost more. I know for sure we have phone plans here. So you enter into a contract with a service provider. Some are really expensive because probably you want high speed and all that. Well, as you go towards retirement and a slower pace of life, we probably don't need those high speeds, and we could take cheaper plans that just work fine with our current and future needs. So I would, like I did that actually. I went through my bills and cut out things I didn't need. For instance, we have a company, it's CAA. I think every country has some kind of a service where if your car breaks down, they can come and rescue you, and and all kinds of things that they do for you. I had a plus, CAA plus, meaning unlimited, or up to 20 calls that you can make. So I looked at my history, and I have never ever even used all the perks that come with the CAA plus. But I had it anyways, in case maybe I'm driving on the highway and something happens and I need to call them. So I said, okay, I don't even drive that much anymore out of choice. I prefer to use public transport like the train. For me, it's much more comfortable than speeding down the highway with all those trucks and other drivers that are really speeding down those highways. So I decided, I really don't use all the perks that come with this CAA plus. So I put it down to basic, really, which brought down that bill to a half of what I was paying. And so many other things, you begin to really look critically at subscriptions that, like Amazon. I don't know. I also looked at my history in the last few years. How many times have I really used Amazon? I used it a lot when COVID hit and there were all those restrictions. But then it's gone down to before COVID level. And yet we still have a subscription to Amazon. And so, like cutting out Uber Eats. We have Uber Eats, and you can subscribe, so you get a percentage off your bill. Those were useful during COVID, but after everything opened up, one just goes down to the restaurant or wherever and picks up what they want to eat. Even if you want to take it out, you pick it up yourself. So there's less use of Uber Eats. And so there's no need for a prescription. If you do use Uber Eats, you just pay the regular price without the 10% off. I think that there are many, many, many areas that one really could seriously cut down and still live a good life, and actually discover that even if it's not a retirement prep, maybe one should do this as practice. Even younger people should be looking regularly at their expense list and deciding to cut out things that they really don't need anymore, or that they could do away with and save that money or put it towards their future. Retirement or investments. Let me tell you guys, investing is so important, and you invest when you're young, because once the responsibilities of school fees and families that are needing more help because they're getting older or that are dying, all those responsibilities eat into the money that you could have saved. So the sooner one starts, buying that piece of land somewhere, or buying shares, or whatever type of investment that one wants to put their money into, honestly, down the road, you will thank yourself that you did it. Honestly, because those are the investments that actually come into play. Those are the ones that one begins to rely on after work, after formal employment. Because if one waits until later, first of all, prices are going, like, they're going up in a crazy, 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 crazy way. And therefore, whilst one could have afforded to buy something a few years ago, you find that now you can't afford it. And yet, chances are that you will accumulate enough money to be able to purchase something of the same value are very, very low, because life is getting more and more expensive across the world. So that extra cash that one would normally have when they are younger and have less responsibilities, it becomes, it's almost like a one-time thing. It's only when you're younger and have no responsibilities. Once you get your responsibilities accumulating, the less money and the less opportunity to invest in either your own retirement or for future generations. In my case, I'm really thinking about my grandkids and their kids, that whatever I do right now is really not for me. Yes, I want to retire nicely and enjoy my life, but whatever improvements or investments or whatever that I'm doing right now in terms of equity building is really for my grandkids and their children, because I also have recognized the power of inheritance. People who inherit things, no matter how small or how few, are starting off at a much, much, much better footing in life than those who are starting over from scratch, from nothing. It's a fact of life. And so for me, I'm always thinking about my dear grandchildren. And by the way, I am excited. I'm going to have a new grandchild this coming week. I can't wait. Ooh, it's a boy. I already know it's a boy. Ooh, can't wait. This coming week is going to be major excitement. Anyway, so I'm thinking about all these grandchildren that I love so much, and that they should start life at a better footing or higher footing than they would if they were to start life on their own without any help. And because I've been working all these years, I think I can make that happen for them. I can make their lives a little bit easier for them. And that is really part of retirement planning and legacy building in the long run. You know, what do you leave behind when you're no longer here? And how did our dependents benefit from our having been on earth? So let me know what you think. Just comment freely. Also like my video and share and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.